Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Wednesday evening and I have no words. I am furious. Furious, spitting flames, whatever you want to call it. So, Sky News this morning had on, see, I even wrote it down, I'm so cross. The Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan, who seemingly famously wears a £10,000 Rolex watch. And Kay Burley asked her about nurses and nurses going to food banks. And she says quite often when you go to food banks, something will have broken down, either a relationship or boiler or anything. I'm sorry, what? Nurses are not going to food banks because they fell out with their boyfriend or because the boiler's broken. Nurses are going to food banks because their wages are not keeping up with their expenses. And then she had the audacity to say, we cannot spend our way out of inflation. Well, that doesn't seem to work when they're making however many life peers over and over again for each goddamn Prime Minister. That does not seem to work when the MPs are getting their pay rise, does it? We seem to be able to manage to spend that money. Why can't we spend it on the public sector that are not MPs and such? What are we supposed to do? Starve our way out of inflation? I think not. And then it gets worse, I swear to God. Then she has the audacity to say, well, with the healthcare system and, all this healthcare, and there's so much needs to be done with social care. And of course, social care workers don't get paid as much as nurses. I was like, I'm sorry, what are you trying to do here, sweetie? Are you trying to divide and conquer, perchance? Social care workers do not have to sit and do a degree for 3 years at over £9,000 per year in England. So no, social care workers do not get paid as much as nurses until they get through their qualifications. But if I've just spent nearly over 27 grand getting a nursing qualification, I expect to be able to pay my rent, pay my council tax, pay my energy bills, and eat a decent meal at night and keep my family going. I do not expect to have to be going to food banks. And as for this, I'm at food banks quite a lot, and when I'm there, it's mainly because things have broken. No, it's not. It's mainly because you're a condescending ass who's standing there going, oh, and why are you here at the food bank, dear? What proud woman who works a damn good job is going to speak to some hoity-toity with a £10,000 Rolex on her wrist and say, well, actually, I'm a nurse, but I can't afford to eat? People have their pride. They're not going to tell her anything because they know it goes in one ear and comes out the other. What is that about? So yeah, she's sitting there, quite the thing on Kay Burley this morning. And then we have the thing of the smart meters. Oh yes. Hundreds have been cut off from smart meters, and their smart meters have been made into prepayment meters, because they don't need a warrant to enter your home to change the meter if you have a smart meter. Hundreds of people have had their meters changed already through internet access, through online access, through it being a smart meter. You can't argue, you can't keep the guy out of the house, you can't do anything like that. They flick a switch. And there you are. Suddenly you're on prepayment with very little credit. So, energy bills, energy companies making loads and loads of profit. Excuse me one moment. No tea tonight. So energy bills, energy companies making billions of profit. And what happens? They're cutting people off just in the run up to winter. Because all they need to do is flick a switch because they don't need to get a warrant anymore. Yeah. I mean, it is utterly ridiculous. And what's the headline saying? The headlines are saying that, oh, don't even start me what the headlines are saying about the nurses. Nurses shouldn't strike. Did you clap for carers? Asked Kay Burley this morning. Excuse me. Oh yes, I clapped for carers. I clapped for the nurses, says the Education Secretary Gillian Keegan. But she doesn't see the point on them going on strike because we can't spend our way out of inflation. That's not why they're going on strike. They're going on strike to be able to pay their bills and feed their families. And the quicker they realise that, the better. And the quicker that I know everyone's told me, and I've read the WEF and I've done all that, and yes, it is going, and no, I don't understand it completely, but you better start growing your own food for next year. Because the way it's going, the energy prices are not coming down, the food prices are not coming down, and if they don't pay the bills, if they don't pay wages and wage rises, people are going to stop working because they can't afford to. They can't afford to pay to travel to get to work. They can't afford to pay to have lunch while they're at work. They can't afford to pay to have the washing machine on to have their clothes clean. So what's going to happen then? And then some stupid newspaper has the absolute brass neck to say, oh, the Royal College of Nursing is advertising for jobs in Australia at 50 to 80,000. Why the hell not? They've just spent nearly 30 grand getting qualified. What should they do? Stay in the UK where they get treated like second-class citizens? Or maybe go out to Australia where they're appreciated? Which one would you choose, I wonder? Is that a hard decision? I think not. Because I know what I'd be doing. Utterly ridiculous. And now we're getting all this with oh, it's the migrants, oh, it's the benefit claimants, oh, it's the old people, they're costing us so much money. So's the House of Lords. So's your subsidised restaurants. So's your stupid HS2 and your other vanity projects. How many billions were spent on Boris Johnson's Garden Bridge? Do not even at me at the waist by the UK government. So there you go. I have now wakened up Kathleen, who was sleeping, because I'm on a complete rampage tonight. I am so sick to the back teeth of this. So this spring, we will be growing veggies, we will be stocking up, and I will be making sure I am as little reliant on this government as possible, because dear Lord knows they're not going to help us. So now, I am going to go and enjoy my drinky, and I will catch you later.